When we talk about changing our lives, we often think about grand gestures, those sweeping changes that come with big decisions and dramatic moments. But I've learned something in my years of working with people, watching the ones who succeed and the ones who struggle. It's not the big things that make the biggest difference. No, it's the small things, the little habits, the little choices we make every day. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. What if you could change your life just by changing 10 small habits? It doesn't sound too overwhelming, does it? 10 little things, 10 things you can start today that could transform your future. See, that's the beauty of habits. They don't require some monumental shift in your schedule or a sudden stroke of luck. You can start them right now, wherever you are, with whatever you have. Number 1, win the first hour of your day. One of the most powerful ways to design your life is by taking control of how you start your day. If you win the first hour, you set the tone for everything that follows. But if you wake up and let the day pull you in every direction, checking your phone, reacting to messages, scrolling through negativity, you've already lost control before you even begin. I remember a time in my life when I used to wake up at the very last minute, rushing out the door, grabbing whatever I could for breakfast and heading straight into the chaos of the day. And guess what? My results reflected that. I felt stressed, I felt behind, and I felt like I was just surviving, not thriving. But when I made the simple shift of owning my first hour, everything started to change. You see, your morning is like the rudder of a ship. A small turn at the start can change your entire course. If you wake up and immediately invest in yourself, you're telling your mind, I'm in charge. Imagine waking up with intention. You take a few moments to breathe, to be grateful for the day ahead, to set your focus. Then, instead of jumping straight into distractions, you do something that feeds your mind. Reading, listening to something inspiring, maybe even writing down your goals. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and run 10 miles, unless, of course, that's your thing. But I am saying that how you spend those first moments will determine your energy, your mindset, and ultimately your results. I know people who, the moment they wake up, they list 3 things they're grateful for. Others spend a few minutes in prayer or meditation, clearing their minds before the world tries to fill it with noise. Some get moving, stretching, exercising, getting the blood flowing. The key is to be proactive, not reactive. If the first thing you do in the morning is pick up your phone and scroll through emails, messages, and social media, you've already given away your power. You're letting the outside world dictate your emotions before you've even had a chance to decide how you want to feel. I made a commitment to start my day differently, and I can tell you the difference has been night and day. I start with gratitude, I feed my mind, and I make sure my body is moving. And you know what happens? I feel in control. I feel ahead. My days don't run me. It's not about perfection. You're not going to get it right every single morning, and that's okay. But if you can make winning the first hour a habit, you'll be amazed at how much more focused, productive, and confident you become. Start small. Maybe it's just 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of reading, or 5 minutes of writing down your goals. Whatever it is, make it intentional, because how you start is how you continue. Win the first hour, and you'll start winning the rest of your life. Number 2, master the art of silence. You know, in a world that never stops talking, silence is one of the most powerful tools you can master. Most people are always in a rush to respond, to fill the gaps, to be heard. But have you ever noticed that the wisest people, the ones who truly command respect, aren't the ones who talk the most? They're the ones who know when to pause, when to listen, and when to let silence do the work. I used to think success was about always having the right thing to say, always making my point. But then I learned something that changed everything. I realized that the most important moments in life aren't found in the noise. They're found in the quiet, the space between words, the pause before a decision, the moment you resist the urge to react and instead choose to reflect. Silence is powerful because it gives you control. Control over your emotions, control over your reactions, control over the energy you bring into every situation. Think about it. How many times have people gotten themselves into trouble because they spoke too soon? Because they let frustration, anger, or impatience dictate their words. But when you learn to embrace silence, you give yourself a gift. Some of the best decisions I've ever made didn't come from speaking. They came from listening, from stepping back, from waiting just a little longer before making my move. And I've also seen the opposite, people who lost opportunities, relationships, and trust simply because they couldn't control their tongue. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength. The ability to hold back when every part of you wants to respond is a discipline most people never develop. It's the difference between reacting and responding, between impulsiveness and wisdom. I remember sitting in a room full of powerful business leaders, listening to a conversation unfold. One man in particular barely spoke, but when he did, everyone stopped to listen. He had mastered the art of speaking only when necessary, only when his words carried weight. And that's when I realized something. The more valuable your words become, the less often you have to use them. Silence also gives you the chance to hear what others miss. While most people are busy planning what they'll say next, the ones who listen gain the advantage. They pick up on details, on emotions, on things left unsaid. And because they truly understand before they respond, their words carry more impact. Make it a habit to pause, to breathe before you speak, to let silence settle into your conversations, your decisions, your thoughts. Because in that silence, you'll find your greatest strength. You'll gain clarity, you'll develop patience, and most importantly, you'll learn that not everything requires your words, but everything benefits from your wisdom. Number 3, use the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This kills procrastination before it even starts. It's amazing how often we put things off, not because they're difficult, not because they require a huge effort, but simply because we overthink them. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later, and later turns into never. But what if there was a simple way to break through procrastination? A way to take action before hesitation creeps in. That's where the 2-minute rule comes in. It's simple. If something takes less than 2 minutes to do it immediately. No excuses, no delays, no second guessing. Just get it done. Think about it. How long does it take to send that email, reply to a message, drink a glass of water, or put something back where it belongs? Not long. Yet these little things pile up, and when they pile up, they become overwhelming. I used to struggle with small tasks. I'd tell myself they weren't urgent, that I'd get to them later. But then I realized that every undone task was stealing my focus. Every little thing left unfinished created mental clutter. A list of things that I knew needed to be done but hadn't taken care of. And that list, though small, drained my energy. So I made a rule. If it takes 2 minutes or less, I do it right then and there. No debate, no negotiation. And let me tell you, the results were incredible. Suddenly, my desk stayed clean, my inbox was manageable, and my to-do list wasn't overflowing with tiny tasks that didn't deserve to be there in the first place. And here's the magic. Small wins create momentum. When you start completing these tiny tasks, you train your mind to take action instead of hesitating. You start seeing yourself as someone who gets things done, someone who follows through. It's not just about getting rid of small tasks. It's about building a habit of action, a habit of discipline. And once you build that habit, bigger tasks don't seem so intimidating anymore. Success isn't found in grand gestures. It's found in small, consistent actions, repeated every day. And it all starts with 2 minutes. Number 4, feed your mind daily. Read, listen, or watch something that expands your thinking. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant good seeds and nurture them, you'll grow a harvest of wisdom, strength, and success. But if you neglect it, weeds will take over. Negativity, doubt, fear, and distractions. The question is, what are you feeding your mind every day? Most people don't even realize it, but their minds are constantly being shaped by what they consume. The conversations they have, the books they read or don't read, the content they watch, the people they listen to, it all plays a role. The mind is always taking in information, whether you choose it intentionally or let it happen by default. And if you're not careful, it's easy to let in the wrong influences. I remember a time when I was struggling, feeling stuck, wondering why things weren't changing for me. Then I took a step back and asked myself, what am I feeding my mind? And the answer wasn't great. I was surrounded by small thinking, by people who only complained, by news that only focused on problems. No wonder I felt stuck. I had been pouring all the wrong things into my mind. So I made a decision. Every day, I would feed my mind with something that helped me grow. I started reading books that challenged me, listening to people who had achieved what I wanted to achieve, studying ideas that stretched my thinking. And the change was incredible. My perspective shifted. My energy changed. New ideas started flowing. And more importantly, I started taking action in ways I never had before. That's the power of feeding your mind daily. It doesn't take hours. It can be as simple as reading 10 pages of a good book, listening to a powerful podcast, or even having a meaningful conversation with someone who inspires you. The key is to do it consistently, because what you put in determines what comes out. Think about this. If you read just 10 pages of a great book every day, that's 3,650 pages a year, about 15 to 20 books. Imagine the knowledge, the insights, and the wisdom you could gain just from that small habit. Imagine how much stronger, sharper, and more capable you'd be a year from now. But it's not just about reading. It's about surrounding yourself with the right voices, the right energy, the right influences. Because if you don't choose wisely, the world will choose for you. And the world is full of distractions, negativity, and noise. You have to be intentional. A strong mind doesn't happen by accident. It's built daily, through small choices, through disciplined habits. So, ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind? What seeds am I planting today? Because those seeds will become your reality tomorrow. Number 5, write your future every night. Every night, before you sleep, take a moment to write your future. Not just your to-do list for tomorrow, but your vision, your goals, your dreams. Because if you don't take control of your future, someone else will. If you don't decide where you're going, you'll wake up every day reacting to life instead of creating it. Most people go to bed thinking about their worries, their failures, their frustrations. And then they wonder why they wake up feeling the same way day after day. But what if instead you ended your day by designing your future? What if you made it a habit to put your vision on paper every single night? Just a few sentences about where you're going, who you're becoming, and what you're working toward. That small habit alone can change everything. I remember the first time I truly understood the power of writing down my future. I was in a tough place, feeling lost, unsure of my next step. Then someone told me, start writing about the life you want, as if you're already living it. So I did. Every night I wrote about the person I wanted to become, the success I wanted to achieve, the impact I wanted to make. And something incredible happened. My mindset changed. Mindset changed. My actions started aligning with that vision. My confidence grew. And slowly what I wrote began to turn into reality. See, when you write your future, you're giving your mind a blueprint. You're telling your subconscious, this is where we're headed. and your mind starts working on it even while you sleep. That's why some of the most successful people in history kept journals, wrote letters to themselves, and documented their dreams. They knew that the future belongs to those who design it in advance. But don't just write vaguely, get specific. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, write, I am building a business that impacts thousands of people. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, write, I wake up every morning full of energy, treating my body with care and discipline. Make it real, make it detailed, make it powerful. And here's the key. Write it as if it's already happening. Don't say, one day I'll have financial freedom. Say, I am financially free, making smart decisions and creating abundance. Because when you write in the present tense, your mind starts believing it. You start acting like the person who already has that future, and that's how you bring it to life. It only takes a few minutes each night, but those minutes are the difference between drifting through life and steering your life, between hoping things get better and making them better, between letting life happen to you and making life happen for you. So tonight, grab a pen, grab a notebook, and write your future, because if you don't write it, who will? Number 6, speak power into your life. Words have power. The words you speak about yourself, your life, your future, they shape your reality. Too many people talk themselves out of success before they even begin. They say, I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. Things never work out for me. And then they wonder why life keeps proving them right. You've got to start speaking power into your life. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I will find a way. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Change the way you talk, and you'll change the way you live. I remember a time when things going my way, I felt stuck, frustrated, doubting myself. But I made one small shift. I started speaking differently. I told myself, I am capable, I am disciplined, I am becoming the person who gets things done. And something changed. My confidence grew, my actions followed, and the results started to show. Not because life magically got easier, but because I stopped speaking weakness and started speaking strength. Your words set the tone for your life. If you keep telling yourself you're tired, you'll feel exhausted. If you keep saying you're overwhelmed, you'll stay stuck. But if you declare, I am strong, I am focused, I am unstoppable, you'll begin to live that truth. So be careful with your words. Speak what you want, not what you fear. Because the words you say today will become the life you live tomorrow. Number 7, move every single day. Your body was made to move. It wasn't designed to sit all day, to stay still, to be trapped in a routine that keeps you inactive. Movement is life. The more you move, the more energy you create. The more energy you create, the more you can do, the more you can achieve, the more you can become. Some people say, I don't have time to exercise. But movement isn't just about going to the gym. It's about keeping your body in motion every single day. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Stretch in the morning. Go for a walk. Do something that keeps your body engaged, because when you move your body, you wake up your mind. I remember a time when I was stuck in a slump, feeling sluggish, unmotivated. But I made a simple change. I started moving. Just 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. A walk, a few push-ups, stretching before bed. And something happened. My energy shifted. My focus improved. My discipline strengthened. Because movement isn't just about fitness. It's about momentum. When you move, you remind yourself that you are in control, that you are taking action, that you are not sitting still while life passes you by. So move every single day. It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter how intense. Number 8, give without expecting. There's a secret to life that many people overlook. The more you give, the more you receive. Not because you're keeping score, not because you expect something in return, but because giving changes you. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from what can I get to what can I offer. And that shift is powerful. I've seen it time and time again. The ones who give, whether it's their time, their knowledge, their kindness, somehow always seem to have more. More joy, more fulfillment, more opportunities. Not because they're chasing a reward, but because they understand a simple truth. Life rewards those who contribute. Think about a time when you helped someone, not because you had to, but because you wanted to. Maybe you gave advice that changed someone's perspective. Maybe you lent a hand when no one else did. Maybe you offered a smile on a day someone desperately needed one. Those moments matter. They create ripples far beyond what we can see. The key is to give without expecting, because when you give freely, you prove to yourself that you already have enough. You remind yourself that you are not lacking. You are overflowing. And that's when life starts to give back in ways you never imagined. Number 9, do one thing that scares you. Fear is a funny thing. It has the power to stop us in our tracks, to keep us from taking action, to make us hesitate when we should be moving forward. But here's the truth. Fear is nothing more than a test, a challenge from life, asking, how badly do you want it? The ones who answer that challenge, the ones who step forward despite the fear, those are the ones who grow. Those are the ones who win. I've met so many people who let fear dictate their lives. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect feeling before they act. And you know what happens? Nothing. They stay stuck, not because they aren't capable, not because they don't have the potential, but because they let fear whisper in their ear, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if people judge you? And they listened. But the secret to breaking free, to living a life of growth, of achievement, of real fulfillment, is simple. Do the thing that scares you. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but today. Because courage isn't something you find, it's something you build. Every time you take action in the face of fear, you strengthen that muscle. And before you know it, the things that once terrified you become second nature. I remember the first time I stood in front of a crowd to speak. My hands were shaking, my heart was racing, and I thought, what if I forget my words? What if I embarrass myself? But I did it anyway. And you know what happened? I got through it. Was it perfect? No. But I was better for it. And the next time, it got easier. And the time after that, even easier. That's how growth works. You don't wake up one day fearless. You don't suddenly feel brave. You act despite the fear, and in doing so, you take its power away. Fear only controls you if you let it. But if you push through, if you take that step, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than anything that tries to hold you back. So, ask yourself, what have you been avoiding? What is that one thing that lingers in the back of your mind that you know would change your life? If only you had the courage to do it. Is it making that call, having that conversation, taking that leap? Whatever it is, do it. Not next week, not next year, today. Today. Because the only way to grow, to become more than you are today, is to walk straight through fear. And when you do, you'll look back and realize fear was never the enemy. It was the doorway to everything you've ever wanted. Number 10, prioritize rest and recovery. Don't just work hard, work smart. We live in a world that glorifies the hustle, the grind, the never-ending mentality. People wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, as if running on empty is proof of their dedication. But let me tell you something. Burnout doesn't lead to greatness. It leads to frustration, mistakes, and a life where you're constantly chasing instead of creating. The real secret to long-term success isn't just hard work, it's smart work. And smart work means knowing when to push and when to step back. Rest isn't weakness. Recovery isn't wasted time. In fact, it's in those moments of stillness that your mind sharpens, your body recharges, and your spirit resets. Think about the most powerful machines in the world. Even they need maintenance, downtime, time to refuel. If you don't give yourself that same care, you'll wear yourself out before you ever reach your full potential. Some people think if they slow down, they'll fall behind, but the truth is, those who rest with purpose come back stronger, clearer, and more focused. When you take care of yourself, when you sleep well, when you breathe, when you allow yourself to reset, you don't just show up, you show up at your best. So don't wait until exhaustion forces you to rest. Make it a priority. Because when you take care of yourself, you're not just preserving your energy, you're protecting your future. Giving your best effort is a critical asset that will likely produce excellent results unprepared. I could, and I do. When I am exhausted, I protect my most. When I am exhausted, I protect my most. I could, and I do. When I am exhausted, I protect my most. 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 When I am exhausted, I protect